Hi, Johnny.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, I'm glad we made it work.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay. I just tried to do a couple things here. One
all
second.
good.
Okay. All right, that didn't go to
Okay,
plan.
no worries.
Hello.
Well, while you get settled, I'm just going to do a really quick introduction of you. So, as I was mentioning, you are a peak performance coach and also a rapid transformational therapist. And I'm so excited to talk to you about RTT today because I don't think a lot of people know about it. I think people have heard of hypnotherapy, but RTT is something very, I think, not a lot of people are familiar with it. But before we dive into that, I want to do a brief introduction to you because you have such an interesting background. You used to work in hospitality, promoting some of the hottest clubs and restaurants in Western Canada before you became a mental health coach. So I know that journey is probably really long, but in a kind of a quick nutshell, can you tell us how that journey kind of came about?
Yeah, so I think when you first get into any sort of lifelong career, sometimes it happens by accident, sometimes it happens by comfort, sometimes it happens that this is what aligned in order for us to get to where we are to learn our purpose. And the hospitality industry was all about me and my background, my ability to please people, my ability to find out what people wanted and what required in order to gain a really memorable experience. Because for people to choose to spend their money with me, for people to choose to spend their weekends or whatever their important dates, I had such a great opportunity to make sure that people got to have great experiences and memorable experiences. And it got to the point where after 25 years in my life, I found that the validation that I was looking to get, instead of working on myself and making sure that I'm validating myself without anything around me, that was my process. And I really took a step back, and my body said, hey, listen, this isn't working. My mind said, hey, if you continue this path, it's not gonna go well for you. And uh, you know, I have so much love for the hospitality industry. It taught me so much, and for all the people out there right now that are doing it and diving deeper into it, I have so much respect for them and where they're at in their lives to wanting to continue to do this. For me, I decided that this wasn't for me anymore, and I wanted to serve in a greater way. And I really dug deep into um, personal development. I dug deep into meditation, just getting more awareness of myself and how I want to move through this world. And through that came some really crazy insights. And through those insights, I found that coaching, and just for clarification, it's high performance coaching, not peak
Oh, okay,
performance.
sorry. Yeah,
No,
maybe you can. Yeah.
yeah, high performance between peak. If you just think of the language of peak, it gets you up to the top and then you drop. Whereas high performance is fully engaged over a long period of time. So developing things over time and getting you to a place where you're able to engage in all areas of your life, from relationships, both business and personal, to making sure that you have enough energy to really go for your dreams and be productive, not busy.
Thanks for
And
the clarification. Yeah, it's
yeah, so this program is a very science backed program, and it's I've been able to take clients through and myself through this process, and living a purposeful life and this life of fulfillment's been such a learning and growing experience. And man, I'm excited. I just feel like I'm just starting, and I just turned 44 this year, so it's
congrats.
interesting to see. Thank you. So yeah, so does
Yeah.
that answer the question?
No, that's great. And I feel like a lot of the skills I are probably translatable. Like you mentioned in hospitality, your job is really to make people feel good, right? So I think a lot of that can be translated to your coaching practice now. So talk to us about what RTT is. And I know it's probably a really big topic, and can you explain it in the simplest terms to like the layman, what it is, how is it different from hypnotherapy, and maybe just explain also how hypnotherapy works. I think a lot of people think that when you're under hypnosis, you lose control of your, of yourself, that you're being manipulated, but which is not true at all. So maybe also debunk that if you can.
Yeah. So hypnosis is pretty much when you're deep in thought. Let's say you're driving home and you're just thinking about things, and all of a sudden you're home and you're like, how did I get home? Well, anytime you're in thought, the subconscious programming comes into play. And that's the over years you develop this repetition of habits, and within those habits becomes a program. So if you take a look at when you're a child from 0 to 7, you're pretty much observing, and as you're observing, you understand the intentions of things, but you make things mean things with those observations at a very low level because you haven't had a lot of life experience. So after that, between the ages of 7 and 14 to 24, you're pretty much confirming all those biases that you experience over a lifetime, over those observation years, and those years that you made things mean. So between 14 and 20, you're pretty much confirming what your beliefs are, and then that's when the critical mind comes into play after that. And that's when you start discerning, what your programming is. And what hypnosis is, or what hypnosis does, or hypnotherapy does, it goes into that subconscious, which is a certain type of brainwave. There's so much information, so I'll try to keep it concise here. But ultimately, there's frequencies in your brain that allow you to get to the root cause and to the answer of it, and that's where you can do the programming. So and people are scared of programming, but it's happening all the time. So people feel like hypnosis, they're not in control. They're with what we do, you're always in control. You're always there, and you're always aware. It's just that the subconscious is at the forefront, and the conscious, the critical thinking mind, is in the background, still aware, still paying attention. And what hypnosis is usually like a 60-minute session.
Yeah.
And then you go from lowering the frequency of your mind, and then offering suggestions, because the brain loves repetition. So when you're in the subconscious, it lowers that critical mind so that you can offer suggestions to what you're looking for. So making sure you're able to relax if you have anxiety, making sure that if you are want to quit smoking, then you offer different suggestions. Whereas rapid transformational therapy, hypnosis is just one tool. That's to get to the subconscious. And then through that, we go into regressions. And what does that mean? We go into, like I said, the subconscious carries all the information and all the experiences that you've had from when you were born or conceived to when you die. So the subconscious is always keeping track, because that's how it understands how to program and how to live and how to work. So what RTT does, it goes back into those root causes of why you might have anxiety, why you might have OCD, why you might have these limiting beliefs, or these safety responses, or these trauma responses. And we're able to dive deep into the root cause and the reason of those, and really unearth them and help you see it in a way that you understand that you believe that at the time that it happened, but then you or myself, let's say at 44, understand that that's not the case anymore. That's not necessary. So we it's almost like watching the movie The Sixth Sense. I don't know if the viewers here understand what The Sixth Sense is, but it's a movie where you go through all these different scenes, and all of a sudden they have this thing at the end saying that he was dead the whole time, and then all of a sudden everything reveals itself. Well, that's the same thing with RTT. So we bring to light the beliefs that have been created for you to have these responses, and once you're able to do that, then we reframe it. We reframe it in a way so that it empowers you back to where you are today, knowing what you've seen, heard, and experienced around you, so that you can live your life and have this sense of freedom. And then once we've been able to reframe those old beliefs, then we implement new beliefs. So the more empowering beliefs. because the brain loves powerful words. The brain loves empowering words, and it's no different when you watch any sort of movie or any sort of speech. It activates this imagination. This activates any sort of hope, any sort of ambition. So the brain is a machine. The body is a machine. So we unearth it so it activates in a way that that you want to live your full life, and it's one of the most powerful tools that I've been able to use for my clients, because this is something that I recommend everybody get to experience, because the results are, you can't deny the results that this has been able to provide for not only my clients, but the people that are practitioners and therapists. So
yeah. When I think about hypnotherapy, I think of that movie Shallow Hal, where Tony Robbins like hypnotized Jack Black's character, and he becomes a different person. So I thought that was really interesting. But speaking of results, can you share a few or one memorable client story where you're like, wow, this like really this work really works, it's like very impactful, like, or something that sticks out?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been able to help clients overcome OCD that's been around their lives for 30 plus years, where they would be debilitated because if nobody knows what OCD is, it's where you have to be really controlling in your environment, and you have these routines that if it doesn't align, then you can't function in the world. And one of my clients here was pretty much debilitated, and they've seen therapists, they've seen all these types of counselors, been on many different medications. And I do want to do a caveat here. Again, I'm not here to speak poorly about any of these practices, because they have amazing results. This one in particular, this client in particular, within 2 hours through this process in this program, she's been able to live her life, and she doesn't have these routines anymore that really debilitate her from responding into the world, and she can live her life.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think in sort of in wellness, I think there's this whole concept of manifestation, right? I think a lot of people, especially now with COVID, I think it really made a lot of people realize they can't continue to live the life that they're living, whether it's working the job that they've always hated, or being in the relationships that no longer serve them. So in your opinion, what is the biggest mental block that's hindering someone from, manifesting or living the life that they've always wanted? And how can RTT help them achieve that?
Yeah, so there's three of the biggest root causes and beliefs that happen through the research and through the experience of RTT, and the one is, I'm not worthy. So when we're born into this world, we have this like you see a child, they get all the love and everything available to them. They can fall, they get right back up. But kids have this innocence about not having all these rules in the world. And like I said before in this conversation, is that when you have that experience of all of a sudden the father or the mother doesn't respond like it did before, well, at 3 years old, the only thing that you can understand and mean is that I'm not worthy enough for their love. So you make that meaning. It's not true whatsoever. And then all of a sudden that shows up later on in life, where it's like that level of success you're not worthy of, or that relationship you're not worthy of, or whatever it is. So that's how it shows up. Another one is, I'm not enough. I don't have, wherever I'm at, I'm not enough skillfully, mentally, or whatever it is to bring that into my life.
It's like imposter syndrome. Does that kind of correlate with imposter syndrome being?
Yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah.
There's hyperachievers. There's people that work to their graves, because they're always chasing that I'm not enough aspect of things. So, and then the one is I'm different. And so if I'm different, then things aren't available to me. Right? So as a kid, you're growing up, you know, every kid has always felt different in their lives.
Yeah.
So, but we think that we're always on the outside looking in those scenes. So if we're always on the outside looking in, then nothing's that car, that towel, or whatever it is not available to us. When, you know, through this work, you find out you're unique. You're part of this fabric. You're part of this community, and it is available to you. So instead of outside looking in, it's the inside looking out. And then you're able to really understand on the mechanistics of how manifestation works and how beliefs work.
That's amazing. Because I, you know, in this line of work, I always hear like, you know, find and expand, or find someone who is like you, who went through what you went through and achieve what you were able to. And that I've learned, and I've seen other friends who've done this work where it really helped them to achieve what they wanted. You know, seeing, you know, that they're not different, that there are other people like them. And, you know, that saying goes, your problems are not unique. Like, you're not the only one in the world going through this, your experience. I mean, granted, certain things are unique to you, but, you know, in overall nutshell, I think, you know, there's elements to a shared human experience.
Yeah.
So with RTT, you mentioned that it's faster and quicker than like hypnotherapy. So typically, how many sessions would a client need, or that depends? And are the changes permanent?
Yeah. So it's almost like, you know, if you watch the Titanic, you know what happens in the end, no matter how many times you watch it. It's permanent. The work is permanent. There's other things that might come up, but for the most part, anywhere from 2 to 3 sessions, it's very effective. And my goal, and RTT's goal, is we don't want to see you again for that specific event, that specific you know, phobia, fear, limiting belief. We want to eradicate it. We want to destroy it. We want to eliminate it by 3 sessions. So, you know, the having to see somebody for a year, there is probably some really good results that come out of that. But the way we work, the way we want to move through things, is that it's 1 and done, or 2 and done, or 3 and done.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, having said that, I can't believe it's coming to the end of our chat. So yes. I want to thank you for your time. I can't believe it went by so fast, it's 20 minutes. But if anyone is interested, they can book a session or a discovery call with Johnny on the Holistic Panda, and you get 10% off your first session when you sign up. Signing up is free. And this was lovely. And I wish we can talk more about this. It's such an interesting topic. And I think the 3 mental blocks that you mentioned, I'm aware of the 2, but the third one actually is brand new to me, and it made so much sense. So as always, Johnny, thank you so much for your time, and we have to do another one another time, because it's absolutely an interesting topic.
Absolutely. Thanks, Sienna.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Bye.